And here we are. Back again. I neglected to tell you all, from the last session anyway, the slave camp that you had liberated on your way to Rivendell. Two of the hobbits that were rescued from there, Torville Buffin and Robin Hornblower. They were part of the ones who were taken from Hardbottle way back at the beginning of this campaign. And from them you have learned that there are 3 more still missing. One of them is the cousin of Torville. So you have Folco Bracegirdle, Tolman Boffin, and Hamson Brownlock are still missing from the Shire. And these 2 do not know what happened to them. And then the humans from that camp were part of the same merchant caravan of those 3 humans you liberated in the Orc war camp. Oh, sorry, the bandit camp, sorry. I forgot to tell you that stuff. Okay.
Gotcha.
Just some notes. All right. So, we had ended, and we just said you had arrived in Rivendell, and nothing else was discussed, because it was the end of the session, so. It is the 12th day of Narquilia. Which corresponds to October, the middle of the month, by the time you arrive back.
Quite a company.
And you were all we didn't do anything about your fatigue or anything like that. We just arrived, end of session, and gave out experience points, and that was it.
And I believe half of the dwarves split off and went to Bear.
Yes, let me clarify that one. So I forgot to do it. Thank you for reminding me. So you had a host of 50 dwarves that went that helped you out in Fornost, and they came with you until you got to the east-west road, and then split off. And 25 of them went west to head back to the Arid Luin. And the other 25 came with you to Rivendell. Now these are all Arid Luin dwarves. But they wanted to escort to make sure that you arrive safely.
I think the Baron went with them, because Gandalf maybe needed them later.
Sorry, what was the question?
No, I think Boric went with them back to the Arid Luin to convince them to come back for later.
Yes.
If I recall.
Yes. So the instruction was to, bring tidings as to what has happened and what is going on back to the Arid Luin. And of course the Baron's son, or the Baron would want to be seeing his son, Oric, who's been missing for as long as Thorin. And also departing you was Gilriath, Aedoras, Rudigar, and at the moment his name escapes me. It's a dwarf. Why? Belar. God damn, why did I forget his name? went west as well. They made their way back to the Shire area.
Yes.
So, and oh yes, and you had given this crown from the shadow for Gandalf to carry.
Just so it doesn't manifest again.
Just so it doesn't corrupt any of you. um, and keeps any of the foul spirits at bay. So I already have tokens for you all down. Just have them.
Rivendell's going to be crowded today.
They will be. Well, the dwarves. Lindir is going to be none too pleased to be seeing 25 dwarves. Plus, you've got the 7 dwarves who've been traveling with you. So
yes, because I think
32 dwarves.
Yeah, we got Gandalf, the dwarves, our party. Yeah, I think the other party of Belar in that group went to go inform Bilbo.
Yes, and the rangers departed as well.
Yeah, I couldn't remember where their status was on that.
Yes.
Okay.
Cool. Yes. I think that's everyone all accounted for. Yes. Okay. I believe, yes. So, Fulvis's token. Sorry?
No, and I think the Hobbit captives were brought by the other group back to the Shire.
Oh yes, yes. That's one of the chief things that the other party of Gilraeth and Rudigar and them were making sure that they got home. That's what Rudigar wanted. Yeah, Fulvis's token is there, very small. I think this is the only map to where you're mostly in proportion to everything. All right. And you have all of your steeds as well. So I am... bring out... We need Gandalf the Grey. I'm not bringing out tokens for 25 dwarves. I'm just not going to do that. I will bring out Thorin. And Einar, Dogen. We got Dogen up, drag it out. Oh, shows up later. Now I've got 2 Dogons out there. Sorry, I thought I did this already, but I guess I did not. And interesting. Gili and Einar look the same. That's not the way it's supposed to be. Hold on a second.
Yeah. I think that's Gili's photo.
Gili's got the wound. He's the one who was really wounded. Why did that get changed? There we go. Now it looks like Einar. Gili.
I'm surprised he's still wounded, considering I was darn near dead.
Yeah,
and I'm all healed now.
Yeah, he was. Gainar is the wrong token as well. What is going on with this? Sorry, guys.
Yeah, there were some cart days for most of these dwarves and Wanderer.
Yes, yeah, I haven't updated. There now, Gainar looks like Gainar. I haven't updated everything. Bring a Hogar out who is way too big. I'll fix that in a moment. Logan, hey, Logan looks the way he's supposed to, and then Vidar, who looks like Gili. It's 3 of them. Oh, there it is. There we go, and then... is the right size. Mostly, even though I have Bane, you a little bit bigger than. Whoops. All right. Well, there's something with the coding in this. It doesn't.
It's all right.
I'm not gonna. It's okay. It's just some tokens, right? I'm not gonna spend the time going through 8 dwarves and fixing this.
That's fine.
Sometimes Bane has a big head anyway.
Yeah, that's why he was chosen. He was larger than the other dwarves. It's the size of a.
I think it's my old token as well.
Size of the cranium.
It is your old token. Yes. Sorry, size of what? Size of the cranium.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's right. This is left from the last time you were here. And you do have a new token. Hey, there he is. Sorry about that.
Larger than life.
Yes. Well,
And you look a bit different. Is it a new hairstyle?
like what you've done.
Like what you've done with your hair.
It's so you.
New barber.
Right. Anyway, that's all the maintenance done. And there's 25 more dwarves who are. You guys came up the west path. Because east is to the mountains. But there's other wilderness on the way up. I'm going to say they've camped out just on the outskirts here of Inladris. Rather than this whole courtyard being full of half a company of dwarves. And saves me tokens. Alright. So as you come up, Lindir is up on the balcony. And watches as you approach. And as you... He comes down the stairs, at the same time approaching from the northwest. Or some of the elven stable lads to come and collect your steeds. And this is pre-Shadowfax days for Gandalf. And they lead them off. So the stables are way down west. It's the westernmost building. Down here, if you can see. If you're zoomed out, you can see it. But that's next to the smithy. And Lindir comes down the stairs to the courtyard. Maya gewonnen, Melon. You have returned. And you have been successful. And comes up to Gandalf. Mithrandir, it is good to see you. And Gandalf returns. And you, Lindir. We are all weary from the road. But we have been successful. And he gestures to Thorin, who steps forward. Who's able to get a little bit of rest on the way, or at least recover from his beating that he suffered from Brock. And he bows, at your service. And there are some other aides that come down. Again, I'm not bringing a bunch of tokens out. Come down from the House of Elrond. Stewards of the house. And Lindir continues. Please go and rest. And he gestures off to the right to the guest house, which is the house with the balcony. That one. Food will be brought to you. I will go and inform Elrond of your return. And the dwarves are quick to go. But you notice that Gandalf goes with Lindir. So, you all have quite a bit. We already rolled to see how much fatigue you recovered. Or, sorry, how much fatigue you avoided from being on steeds and just your travel skill. But you all have a number of points. Which... I'm not sure if I have kept up with on the journey sheet. It was originally... No, I did not. It says 0. That was the journey to Bree. We didn't really make another one for it. Or I didn't write it down. You guys should have fatigue still recorded, I would have thought.
I have 2 points.
Okay. Alright, I guess I was a little bit generous on the way back. That's okay. And you don't see Gandalf anymore that evening, that day. And you rest. And the food is good. The beds are soft. You haven't slept on a bed in weeks. And you can recover 1 fatigue point. And you'll recover 1 per day. And as it is in the books, a couple of days goes by of just recovering from the road. So might as well have you go in and do that. Take off 2 more fatigue points, and if your endurance is down, that can be maxed out. What was your scar that you got, Wanderer? What did you...
I got 4 temporary ones.
No, you got from your wound.
Not shadow scars.
Face.
Yeah, across my face.
Oh, wow. And that's been fully healed?
Yes.
Okay.
Still have the scar, obviously, but my endurance and everything. It was 10 days of healing, which was taken care of when we were on the road.
Yeah, not the best place for healing to happen, but...
No. Bane supplement is alcohol for healing.
Okay. I think most of you should have recovered most of your fatigue by now, but by all means, by the end of this session, reset your fatigue to 0.
Wonderful.
Regardless of what it is. But I'll leave that to you to do later, whichever. So, on the 4th day, you've enjoyed the hospitality of the elves for a few days. You've shaken off the weariness of the road, and had a lot of time to think and process what has occurred and what is going on across Eriador, a land that you thought was in a time of relative peace. Trouble seems to be stirring, and just as you dwell upon it, the full weight of it has kind of hit you. And I suspect for the dwarves, well, I don't speak for Bane, but for the rest of the dwarves, the hospitality of the elves is nice and all, but they crave action. Beginning to get a little bored. It's beginning to be a little too nice around here for them. And you hear them commenting on how it'd be great to be in a dwarven beer hall with revelry, and how they miss the home, especially Thorin. Thorin has asked of you, Bane, how it is with Dane when you last left, and along your journey as well. He was asking you these things, and how has the kingdom been? What's been going on with your journeys?
Yeah, Bane would fill him in on. I mean, obviously, he hasn't been back at Erebor for a while, but he'll fill him in on
Of course.
what it was like when he was there, and then all his wondrous journey so far.
Can tell him what it was like a month or so ago. But
fighting a troll, getting hit by a tree.
yeah,
all the dwarven highlights. Mainly battle.
Yeah. And on the fourth day, you have a visitor in the guest house. And it is Gandalf who comes to see you. I don't know about what you guys would do as a normal day, or if you wander about. I'm assuming that you don't just stay put inside the guest house the entire time, but
No, I mean, now that Thorin's here, I'd probably be with him a little bit.
yeah.
And most, but especially if he's doing that, and check to make sure the other dwarves aren't causing, mayhem. But
Yes. Yes.
other than that, I mean, obviously sharpen my weapon stuff.
Yeah, I would probably wander around a little bit in Rivendell, just enjoy the scenery and just walk a little bit, in the various areas to relax and recuperate, and
I mean, if I were an
get
impatient dwarf,
maybe the library a little bit too, and just to get rid of this shadow.
yeah.
Feel
Part of my days.
there's a place of peace and rest, so go to the waterfall and
Part of my day is
smoke
raising
my pipe.
Harebrand's. Part of my day is raising Harebrand's spirits.
Yeah. Actually, Angamando, you wouldn't be in the guest house. You have a place to live. You're from here.
Yeah, I'm definitely having a different experience.
Yeah.
Super glad to be home.
Yes.
Very
Yes.
glad.
The as far as sharpening your blades, Damron on his token is visible there outside the smithy. Though he's not the only one there. There's other elves, but they're more than happy to help you with that. And to tighten up any armor. Maybe some straps have gotten worn. Some buckles and fasteners.
Oh. Bane appreciates that, but it's part of dwarven pride. I feel.
Yeah, well, it's offered. Whether you take it or not is the other thing. But yeah, you have, with all your actions, you have kind of, quote, I want to say not necessarily forgotten, but it's the thoughts of what has happened over the past several weeks has partially been pushed to the back of the mind. And it's kind of hard to believe that you're not, that you're in a place of safety. But Gandalf comes by in the morning, a time when you're most likely going to be in the same place, at least relatively, since you've been sleeping.
After the few days Wanderer had to go to Elleray for her face, I think we're okay.
Yes. Yes, the Houses of Healing just north of the House of Elrond there. But breakfast has been brought to you. Some breads and cheeses. And put him on the balcony. Slowly he floats across Rivendell. He can fly now. He just hovers. And he comes in. I'm going to say you're probably taking your breakfast on the balcony. The elves love the outdoors, even though it's beginning to be autumn and the wind is getting a little bit brisk. Still, it's always pleasant in Rivendell for the most part. And he comes in. Good morrow. I trust you are rested, recovered from the road. Enjoying the hospitality of the elves.
Yes. Trying not too much, and Bane will look at the other 7 dwarves. Or 8
Yes.
dwarves.
I can imagine you're missing the company of other dwarves and the beer halls of Erebor.
Sure, a cheer of agreement goes up.
And soon you must make the journey back. I've spoken with Elrond to tell him of what has happened. We are to have a council. And you've all been invited. You, firsthand, discovered this, are welcome with your input. Elrond has found the news of the actions of the trolls very disturbing. Beyond what you reported about Mormog. But have your breakfast. We will gather in the mid-morning. I will see you there. And he
Went back
floats across Rivendell.
through secret ways and walls.
Yes, just didn't know Gandalf could fly. In addition to the power of fire, he has the power of air somehow.
Smoke and wonder.
Yeah. Yeah, smoke. There it is. Power of fire. He turns into smoke and this vapors across.
He does just magically show up with the Great Goblin that one time. Poof.
Yeah. Angamandil. Sorry, were you going to say something? Bane.
No.
Okay.
All
right.
In thought.
Okay. So, Angamandil, your experience, so you've had 4 days of being back home in your own quarters that have, of course, been kept up while you've been away. And Elrond gave you the day to rest the first day and late in the second day. So we're going a little bit back in time. had summoned you to his library. Oops. Come on, move it. Which is the Eastern Belt.
Probably go there between Gandalf talking to us and our plan to meet with Elrond.
And when you arrive, he has his back to the door and is looking over a scroll. You see a couple other scrolls next to him. And as you approach, you can, just at a glance, they're in Quenya, the older tongue, Elvish tongue, but it looks to be a document written about blessings and removing curses. And as you approach, he looks up. Ah, Angamandil. I trust
I
that
bow
you.
and
It is good to have you back. I trust that you have rested.
I have rested a bit, though I am still wearied. The adventure was trying.
Yes, Gandalf has enlightened me on at least a part of the tale. The rest I hope to learn in the council in a few days.
There's much to tell.
How is the shadow weighing upon your heart? You have been within the walls of Imladris for a time now.
Yes, well, all elves suffer this grief of the shadow. Fear my companions may not bear it quite as well.
Some of them have encountered this darkness for the first time. But it was good that you were there. I was hoping to gain your insight on Erowina. Now you have...
Yes.
The rest of the company have, when they were last here, had told about her, but you had not been with him.
It was quite inspiring to encounter Maiar. An encounter I did not expect.
How did she seem to you?
She seems disturbed. Some greater power of the shadow has shackled her for quite some time, and it is obviously influencing her, though I do not believe she means harm to our fellowship.
I have been in study since your company departed some weeks ago, and more so since speaking with Gandalf upon your return. I have come to learn that it was, and I hesitate to mention the name here, Morgoth himself who cursed her.
It is longer than I thought that she has been shackled.
Yes. It will not be an easy task. But I have hope. But
See, you have scrolls here. Do you have? What is your plan?
I asked your company to retrieve something touched by the shadow. And you brought back the crown. An excellent choice, from what I hear from Gandalf has passed on. That it was a specter who inhabited, who bore this crown, and was perhaps tied to the crown from his death. Using that knowledge, I am pursuing a blessing to turn the crown into a prison for the curse. And my hopes are that when we can meet with Arowena, that the crown will draw the curse up within it. And as you know, below this house are many ancient artifacts, and some from the shadow that we keep sealed away, safe from the world. And it is there that I will store it. Do you feel that she can be easily called upon to come to us when we are ready?
She seems to appear of her own volition. I do not know that we have a way of calling to her, though one of the others may have some idea of how to do so.
Perhaps the presence of all of you together, with Gandalf, myself, on the borders of Imladris, will draw her to us. From what I understand,
She does seem to.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
She does seem to appear when we are in great need or near darkest points of the shadow. Perhaps even just continuing journey will bring her to us, though. Oh crap! What's Gandalf's elven name? I just forgot.
Mithrandir.
Mithrandir may also have some idea. He has great knowledge of the Maiar.
Elrond raises an eyebrow. Well, he is one. Very well. I will allow you to continue to rest. We will have a council in a couple of days. I bid you good evening.
Council is welcome and wise as ever, Lord Elrond. I do hope this magic that you are employing does not drain you too harshly.
As do I. But fraying a Maiar of imprisonment is of utmost importance. And then he just bows his head to you in dismissal. So,
Leave and probably go try to find Herobrand. And then we can switch scenes if you want.
okay. All right, so that was a 2-day in the past sort of thing from Gandalf's approach to you guys. I just wanted to
Gotcha.
keep that scene going for when you guys are meeting with Gandalf. The rest of you, after breakfast, what are you doing before council?
I would have gone to the smithy to make sure all my weapons are in proper order.
Okay.
Because I would imagine they got worn, possibly damaged. So,
There would have been a lot of that, yes.
I think I would I probably would have on the first day or so checked and made sure that my weapons were taken care of, and then after that, like today, probably again, I might go to the library and just try and get more knowledge of Door a little bit because it's not my native area. So just to really try and look at where everything was and kind of get that map down in my head
And
and learn a little bit about the history of, Fornost and things like that. So I kind of get a better appreciation.
also, what better place to be learning about things like that than one of the major houses of lore in all of Middle
Mhm.
Earth?
Yeah, I mean, there's not going to be really a better place to learn anything than Elrond's house.
And the rest of you? What is Fulvis doing?
I'm gonna be at the library
I thought
reading
you'd
a
say
book.
that. Yes.
Bane is attempting to guide cats. Sorry, dwarves.
Tempted to what? Sorry, I did miss that.
To guide cats. Sorry, dwarves.
Yes. Just as an update, the 25 dwarves camped on the outskirts are being taken care of. But they haven't been on the road as long as you guys have, so they are real antsy to get back into action again, even more so than the 7 that are with you. Alright. I'm just going to drag tokens over. Thorin. Next to Gandalf. And I'll drag the rest of you over, but I'll let you put yourselves where you want to. Just in the middle of it all. Fulvis, you're in the back. I am so sorry, guys. I have to make a quick bio break for some reason. It's hit me hard. One moment.
I cannot find in the book where it talks about spending experience and like what raising wisdom and valor do. I feel like I'm going crazy.
If you look in the
Wisdom and-
thing that says,
The experience costs are on 118
if
and
you go under,
119.
well, yeah, if you go to the rules, are you going in physical book or are you trying to look in the tabs?
Oh yeah, I was using my physical book
Oh, okay.
And then
because I wasn't like I
page
have it. I want to use it.
page 78 and 79 have what the rewards do. The valor and wisdom. So wisdom you get reward, or no, valor you get rewards, and wisdom you get virtues.
And
So
one of them fights against sorcery, and the other fights against.
Yeah. So valor you get like grievous weapon or keen weapon, those kind of things. And then wisdom you get a virtue like your cultural virtue, like I can talk to the birds and whatever,
Or-
Or
or
you
you
get
can-
a regular virtue like hardiness or dour handed or things like that.
Didn't they
Also
have another
combat.
passive effect?
Yeah, they fight against shadow and sorcery. That's the other one. One has shadow and one has sorcery. I can't remember which one at the
I
moment.
can tell you. Let's see.
I thought valor affected some role too that we talked about. I can't remember.
Valor is fear. Wisdom is corruption. I'm hovering over that.
Shadow test. Dread is from is used valor, and then greed and sorcery is from wisdom. And then the other passive effect you're talking about is like weapons with blessings that, like Wanderer's Sword and Herabrand's Sword, get an extra bonus per point of valor. It's like +2 or valor, whichever is greater, or something like that. I think it might be slightly
That's
different
the
for
way
each
mine
weapon.
is, yeah.
I'm not sure if it's worded exactly the same for Herabrand's Sword, but you sometimes get other bonuses that way. And then also, if you've got something magical, through point of valor, you unlock a new ability, as it attunes to you, if you want to use a D&D term.
Oh. Okay.
Also, it's not as nice as the others, but you could upgrade your weapon skill. It's also under
with those points.
How badly I hit things, or lack thereof. I probably should do that.
Yeah.
Or I could just keep raising my parry rating.
Yeah.
True.
It just always... You're really good at defending.
Yeah.
Endurance is top notch.
And also just in past, over the past 4 days, Wanderer and Herabrand and Bane and Fulvus, you had a visitor of Elleray.
Oh.
I forgot to talk about that one. Just asking about your journeys. Good to see you again. Sorry, Unicorn, I just took a little bit of liberty there with your other character. But, all right. Now, to do a council. So we've only done this like a couple of times. So before we start, I'm going to get to this section. You as players need to decide what you want out of it. What is your goal? Now, you were summoned to a council. You didn't ask for one. But you still will have something that you want out of it. Or I would have thought. So we need to know that first.
Oh, whoops, did not mean to roll scan.
Just checking everything out. You get to the porch here on the eastern porch. Is everything cool?
Perfect.
Have you swept the leaves? Let's see. Everything must be tidy. So, what would you guys think? I'll let you guys discuss.
What? It wants us to inform him about what's happened.
Yeah.
But I guess what we want, I mean, is it next course of action?
Yeah.
Or I guess that's kind of what we're aiming at.
To inquire about the next course of action, or do you have an idea of the next course of action?
Well, it's either Mormog, Mount Graham, or I mean, I don't know if he's ready for the Aramina thing. I mean, we got him an artifact. But based on the conversation I was not a part of, apparently he needs time for that.
Yes. So, sounds like, unless there's input from the rest of you, it sounds like more about finding out what is the next course of action. There's a lot of options to
Yeah.
go. To fi-
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
Sounds
say as
reasonable.
well.
Mm-hmm.
Is that one of the choices there, or I mean, straight, or I mean, we could do it obviously, and
uh,
that sounds great. But I don't. I'm just looking at the.
the council rules.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, it's if you've got the physical book, it's on page 104. Is the start of the council rules. If you did, you probably know that, but
Okay.
I mean, I'm assuming Thorin can make it back without us, but it would be nice to get Dane's input as well.
yeah. Well, just also with out of rules wise, anyway, you're entering a time of Yule, to where often, but not always, people go back to their homes for the cold. It's as it's described as in the books, in the rule book, anyway.
So we're doing an official Yule phase then.
Yeah,
Winter is indeed coming.
because the original quest, the very original quest, was to rescue Thorin and get him safely home. So you have rescued
Crossing the
him.
mountains in winter probably is not particularly easy.
No. Now you are in October, so if you left soon, you could get across the mountains before it got too bad. Although it's not going to be pleasant as it is. But
Well, I guess if we're requesting something, maybe it's Elrond's aid and resources to one, investigate all of these threats, and then I guess provide us with the maybe extra means to do so.
right. Okay.
Whether that be artifacts or knowledge or whatever he deems that.
Okay. And
If we're setting it, looking at these rules, if we're setting a request, whether that's bold or outrageous, I don't think it's outrageous necessarily, but
yeah, that's what I was just looking at, the resistance. But some of it, the way it's worded here, doesn't always apply to every situation. So you just kind of have to translate it a bit. But
yeah.
It's definitely not a reasonable request, because do not. It's where who you're bargaining with or whatever does not lose anything. Well,
Yeah.
that doesn't apply here, and I don't think it's quite an outrageous one. It's not like we're going to storm Mount Graham, raise an army
Yeah.
now.
Not there yet.
Not yet,
Not
anyway.
quite.
All right. I'm going to call it a bold request then. Resistance 6. Okay. So you need. Which of you has awe the highest? I got
Bane has quite-
Bane.
I only have one, so not me.
I have 3 favored,
My-
and if it's
My
allowed, my
odds
helmet.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, I have 3 favored, and if it's allowed, my helmet, which is a bonus item there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my thing gives me my dragon's tooth thing is awe. Gives me
Yes, it does.
yeah, it gives me
Oh, your brute. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, my
All right.
so then I guess I'd be 2 and then favored.
Let's see. Is it always awe? Hold on a second. I just read this wrong.
I think
it's
one is
awe
awe and
is-
then one is persuade.
Awe is for strangers. courtesy is for friends.
Nope.
And those with courtesy, that's probably Fulvis.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a little bit of courtesy.
How much do you have?
2, and it's
I have-
favored.
Okay, I have 2, but I'm not favored.
And do you have a useful item that's for courtesy as well? No.
No, I don't.
Travel and lore. Okay.
Be a cool idea though.
I do not.
All right. Your pipeweed pipe is a useful item for courtesy. Here, have a toke. All right. So in a moment, I'll. So this is to be role played as much as possible, and there's, as you know, there's different things that you can do once you do the interaction. So there's enhearten, insight, persuade, and riddle and song, whatever is relevant, whatever you feel is relevant. But the rules also state that just from good role playing, whatever you might, say at the council is not to be ignored as far as generating successes. So let's keep that in mind as well. Okay. So, at this council, Elrond sits under the tree as he always does, Gandalf to his right, and Glorfindel is there, on his left. Thorin has been seated to the right of Gandalf, and then Bane has chosen a spot next to Thorin. And after you guys have managed to get seated and gotten yourself comfortable, Elrond speaks. Welcome. Welcome to you all back to Imladris. It is peace on my heart to see you all return safely, despite the weariness and the interaction with the shadow you have endured. I have learned much of what has occurred to you from Gandalf and from Angamandil. And he looks right at you, Wanderer. And some of you have been close to death. But here you are. And you set out to find Thorin. And you have been successful. But along the way, you have uncovered a most treacherous plot of the enemy. And so I have called this council to put our knowledge together and to discover what we must do next. And for all of us, now would be time for you to make a courtesy roll. Single success, okay. All right.
Lord Elrond, it would be my pleasure to to begin talks. We've had a long journey before us, and we know it does not end here.
A number of things are before us here. You have learned. You have learned of the actions of Mormog and of Rock. Both seem to be in service for the evil that dwells in Mount Graham, but Mormog is a lieutenant of Mordor. The slave camps, one of which you liberated. And you suspect 7 more. And along the way you have gained the ally of Amayar, Erowina. But she is bound in service to Mormog. And you have brought forth an item that I have been working on to perhaps find a way to free her. And many that were captured have been freed, and he looks to Thorin. But there are many more who are enslaved. But what you tell me, what I've learned, is that an assault upon all of Eriador is the goal of the enemy. So what are we to do? And Gandalf speaks up. He's been silent this whole time, just listening in, leaning on his staff. And from the map you uncovered that indicated the locations of these planned camps. 3 were to the north and 4 were further south, one of which we have liberated. But I have sent scouts further north. Scouts under the cover of wings. One of the 3 camps to the north could not be so easily liberated like we did on the way here. There was a small army there, and I suspect the others are as well. If we are to deal with those, we are going to need help. And when I was in the Ered Luin, I have planted the seed of action within the dwarves of the Ered Luin. But their numbers are few. Perhaps Dane can be inspired to action. He looks to you, Bane and Thorin. Thranduil has his own problems, and Dane may have interest there, too. since it is on his doorstep. And then Elrond looks back to you, looks each one of you in the face. I am keen to hear from you who were there. You who experienced this shadow firsthand. What do you feel we need to do? So if any of you want to contribute or with things with dice rolls.
So I bow my head. Harebrand bows his head and says, "It is humbling to be in the company of the wise and mighty, of the firstborn, and my noble dwarf friends. But in answer to your question, what do I think? I say this is an evil that must be confronted, and it must be defeated. And we must find a way to do it. For if not us, who will? I think you are right that we shall need allies. Because our enemies are now aware of us. The first camps, we were able to deal with because they had no knowledge of our actions or our capabilities. But now they will no longer be off their guard. And so our task will be more difficult, but even more important. So I say again that we must confront this evil and we must defeat it for everyone's sake.
Agreed.
Sounds like a persuade roll.
Yeah. All right.
I got a big fat 0 in that. That's definitely not me.
Yeah, I'll roll persuade, I guess. Just straight up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. It's 2 out of the 6 successes that you need. 4 more.
Was this like a group roll?
Yeah, well, you can do different things. So you can do... It's been a while since we've had a council, so you can choose Enhearten to address crowds and uplift spirits. Insight to observe and evaluate. Seems to be a relevant one. Persuade to make a point, which is what Arabrand has done. Riddle to gather information. Riddle is not just a telling of riddles with Gollum or hobbits, it's like investigation as well. Song to garner approval, or to lift spirits. Those are the 4 skills.
After Harebrand makes his speech, I just burst into song.
What are you going to sing?
Yeah.
There's a songbook. It's a journal. Fall of Gilgalad might be appropriate.
Yeah, I'm just browsing them. What is that?
Oh, there's the song written by Ray, Lost Innocence.
So many.
Yeah, well, it's just there's the Elven song start on number 5.
Yeah. No, I know. I
Oh,
had
sorry. Although there's a few of those anyway.
to study these in the off time. I didn't even realize.
Yeah, these are all the main ones from the books. I painstakingly went through and wrote down all the lyrics. Even Namaria, which it's in Quenya, along with the translation. I'm a sad person, aren't I?
You're a dedicated DM.
That's what it is. Yeah, Fall of Gilgalad is pretty applicable compared to a lot of the other ones.
Yeah. Do you have any sort of useful item that gives you a bonus for that? I don't know if you did.
What are my useful items? No, healing and perception with my lantern or something.
Ah, yes.
Scan. Oh, it's for scan rolls. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. You can change our useful items around during Yule, though.
Yep. Now that you've been out and
We
about,
maxed.
you might have some things you want to change around, but yeah.
I guess I'll use.
I would in the future, though, Unicorn, if you put in the brackets for the item to write down the skill it's for. Obviously,
Yeah.
the healer's kit is clear. What it's for. Another
See, I
great
have it in,
success. What a song.
Sweet.
Very emotionally moving. That's another 2 points. You have only 2 points remaining to achieve your goal. Each round that we go through, each one of you can actually make a roll for something, although you do need to state what it is and how it's going to be relevant.
Okay. After his song, I guess.
Everyone else has to have a go before you can go again.
Oh,
Brent.
okay, sure.
If they're going to go, that is.
But the only thing I'm good at is awareness, and I don't know how that applies here.
Well, if you fail, does it do anything? A failure doesn't.
It doesn't set you back.
That's what I'm saying. It just
Yeah.
didn't. Because it doesn't like take away from. Yeah, it doesn't. So you can always try something, I guess.
Awareness isn't one of the skills, though. But one of the skills that is relevant is riddle, which you do have, Wanderer.
Not one.
And it's about gathering information. So you can think about what sort of information would you gather in a discussion. And insight is another one, and you have a point of that. Insight is to observe and to evaluate, so like the situation. So making an observation or an evaluation of the situation you experienced, that might be something relevant. Like I said, we haven't done too many councils, so this is still rules we're getting used to.
Yeah. Well, insight sounds like a good one.
I thought so.
Seemed
like a rangery sort of thing. That's a word,
Yeah.
rangery. I've decided. So how are you wording it?
That's what I'm trying to think about. So, given the insights we've gained so far on our journey, definitely more information is needed to further determine what the shadow is up to determine our best course of action of stopping what they are attempting. Yeah, that's about.
Okay. Go ahead and make your roll. Yeah. Okay. Didn't work out
Yeah.
this time. That's okay. And
I wasn't even halfway there.
no, that's okay though. You never know. It could have gone very differently. This round, Fulvus and Bane, will you contribute anything?
I will use riddle.
And how do you want to use it? It's for gathering information.
Yeah, I'd want to see if maybe Elrond or Gandalf has learned anything while we've been gone.
Okay. It's a good thing I prepared. Wow. That is all 6 points that you guys need. Okay.
Oh,
We don't need any more dice rolls, but the rest will be role playing. Elrond speaks up. We can all agree that allies and aid is something that we need in this quest. Whilst you were away, whilst awaiting your return, I turned my attention to Thranduil and the troubles he has been having in the wood. Bard had sent a small contingent to aid Thranduil. If you recall, Gandalf had mentioned this, that even the spawn of Ungoliant herself, the spider Towler, had been seen, guiding the expansion of the spiders who were expanding beyond, just to spread across the wood. Through the aid of Dale and Thranduil's people, they have managed to keep the spiders from spreading beyond the borders of the wood and from spreading to the north. But he knows not for how long. But for the moment, it hasn't gotten any worse. Travel is not advised through the wood unless of utmost importance. The dwarves have been passing north along the Grey Mountains. But Thranduil believes there is a greater evil in the southern part of the wood that fuels their insatiable will. In Thranduil's usual manner, he has not asked for aid. But I fear we will not get help from him anyway for this. As Bane and Thorin, you will know. Wanderer and Agamondale, it is not often that Thranduil will leave the borders of his wood. Not since the Battle of the Five Armies, anyway. And he has his own problems to deal with, so we will not get an ally there. I know that is not good news.
I, though a threat on all of our borders is something to be taken seriously and to investigate further. And perhaps if helped, then he might help himself.
It is worth asking. Gandalf speaks up. When I was in the Ered Luin, and I managed to get a company of dwarves, it was not as difficult as I thought to persuade the Baron. After all, it was his son. And as you all know, we sent half of the company back to tell them what had happened and what had been learned. And I feel another visit to the Baron might bring them around to raising more, but their numbers are few. I fear we'd have better luck with him than with Thranduil. But what of Dane? Bane, Thorin, do you feel Dane will want revenge for what has happened here?
Aye, he will. However, that would require marching on Mount Graham, probably before Mormog. Although Thranduil and Mirkwood are on the way, Bane will say, almost indicating something. And now that the resources for finding you, Lord Thorin, are not needed anymore, he will have more to act with. To mention your word to perhaps give him counsel.
Are you referring to Dane, by the way?
Yes, I'm referring to Dane, to
Okay,
Thorin.
sorry. Yes.
And also,
Yes, Thorin pipes up. The stubbornness of my father. However, he does like war, and he does like to get revenge, so we do have that in our favor. Upon our return, we will speak to him. Gandalf pipes up. But there is still much we don't know. Wanderer, you inquired about gaining more knowledge. When will the enemy be done with its construction of its camps? When will they strike into the heart of Eriador? At the moment, the enemy still thinks the camps are unknown, and that is to our advantage. But the moment an army of free folk marches north, they will strike early, I fear. So more knowledge is needed, and allies are to be gathered.
and they do not know that their line of camps has been disrupted, and at least the last one, not to mention Fornost lessened, and Mormog knows about his tunnel being collapsed, but that's delayed.
So we still have an element of secrecy. Elrond says at the minimum for now, the borders of the free folk must be secured. to prevent more raids and hostages for the slave camps. The Shire, he looks to you, Fulvus, is already keeping a close watch on its borders, fearing a return of the time of the Goblin invasion, a story you are well aware of from your past. They are aided greatly and unknown to most of Hobbitkind by Tarandil and his company of rangers, who have stepped up their patrols. As a course of action, and this is what we are discussing, I see a few options before us. We must work to gain allies. For secrecy must be maintained for now, but I fear numbers are going to be needed before this is over, and that will take some time. The Eredluin, Dane, and the people of the wood, the elves of the wood. We must beseech their aid. And it looks to Wanderer. And we must gain more knowledge. I would say, and I would see your opinion on this, all of you. He looks around to all of you. The dwarves grow restless, who set on here within Imladris, in the Hidden Valley. I would say to make haste and return Thorin home. And from there, seek their aid in our future endeavors with both Dane and Thranduil. And then for the rest of you. And then I would say you would come back this way, Bane. If Dane will let you away, that is. Whilst he gathers an army, if you are... Sorry, I interrupted you. Jacob, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I've wrestled myself away before. And with my bestest buddy, Harebrand. Let us not forget King Bard, and if he is already assisting Thranduil.
And Elrond looks to you, Harebrand. You are close with Bard.
The men of Dale will help. I warned. We will make it so.
Well, the raising of an army will take some time. So if you are successful in planting this seed of aid within these three, I would ask that you return here and join Wanderer in her quest for more knowledge, and to keep the peoples of the free folk secure whilst we wait to make our move. Gandalf adds, I will return to the Eredluin. To try to gain further assistance from the Baron.
Oric said he would already be speaking on our behalf. I would start there.
Yes, I agree. And Elrond sits back in his chair. So we all agreed then.
Yes. And at least those at Fornost are rousted and their western commander slain.
We have slowed them down. In the coming troubles, Rivendell will provide a base of operations and supplies. And Glorfindel, who's been quiet this whole time, and I assume you all remember, he's like the general of the elven army of Rivendell. And by your leave, Elrond, I will lead a host of elves when the time comes. Elrond nods his head.
Be aware, my lord. They're all lords, so my lord. There's a new breed, or at least a stronger form of orc coming out of Graham and Gundabad. And because I think we did encounter a new orc type that we didn't really get to fight, but we did see that.
Yes, you did, and they were in the camp.
So I will describe those to him.
You encountered the Uruk. I fought them before, and I will gladly fight them again. You could see, especially you, Bane, the dwarves who like battle. Now, far be it from a dwarf to understand the mind of an elf. However, you could see you can imagine in his brain the plotting and planning of a general begin to go on. Probably the closest you've ever come to understanding what an elf is thinking. Just because of his reaction to what you've said.
Bane nods approvingly with a smile. But not to mention, I do not know what your scouts have discovered about Mormog's activity since we have been gone, Lord Elrond, since they are stuck going the long way round or trying to redouble their efforts.
Elrond looks to Glorfindel, and Glorfindel says, I can answer that for you. Since your departure, I have kept a watch on the area. Me and Elrond's sons, who you guys have met before, Eladan and Elrohir. They have focused on clearing the tunnel you collapsed. Seems to be activity. We have stayed our distance. We didn't want to tip our hand. Although we have slain many an orc who was and troll who was journeying to that area. It has slowed them down. And we can report that they have not quite yet undone with the damage that you have created for their tunnel.
We ensured it would take a while.
And as serious as elves are, you do find a slight smile in the corners of Glorfindel's mouth.
Sure, all the other dwarves are chuckling themselves.
Yes, they are. They're the ones who helped, because some of them were in prison there, as you know.
Yeah. And for help, I do not see it as much, but if they are looking, if we are to prevent them from gathering more workers and slaves, keeping an eye on, this is where I refer to the other map, keep an eye on Corbin should also be and whatever other settlements have decided to settle in Rudar and the lone lands. Well, not
Yes.
the lone, in the wilds. Must be kept an eye on.
Yes, I fear for those brave but maybe foolhardy folk who dwell in the wildlands.
Yes. This is Elrond. A couple of weeks ago, we had one of mine was returning from his scouting mission in the west and spoke with Moonwolf on Weathertop and informed us of Corbin. And we have been helping the Rangers and keeping an eye on it. Work has already begun to scout out for other settlements in the area. And then Elrond, is for you to journey to Erebor, you will have to depart soon if you're going to escape the worst of the winter. And it will not be until after the winter before you return this way.
Yes. Now,
But that will
I
get.
suppose
Go ahead.
I suppose it is up to us and Lord Thorin to decide what the easiest pass is. Passing to the Grey Mountains has some dangers of its own.
Yes, indeed. But that will give you time to speak to those that you need to there. You're all, of course, welcome to stay here for as long as you like. And there is one other matter to deal with. And that is of the Maiar Arowina. I spoke with Angamandil a couple of days ago about this. Ever since you first told me about her, I've been looking for blessings to be able to remove her curse. And I believe I have a plan to do so. But I feel I will need all of your help, those of you who have kept her counsel for the past several weeks. There will be a connection with you to her. Tomorrow night, under the light of the stars, there is a ritual I will do, and I would like all of you to be there. Under the falls, north of here. And the following day, we will journey to the fords of Broanen, for she is not able to enter Imladris. and we'll see if your presence and the presence of the blessing can draw her to us.
If she spoke the truth, she has wider range with Mormog distracted, and as long as he does not watch her, she can slip away. She has found us on several occasions and said, if we need, we can attempt to beseech her.
Then let us hope that proves true, for she could yet be an ally for us as well in our battle. And he slightly looks towards Gandalf, and having the ally of a Maiar is no small thing. Very well. I call this council adjourned. And now I think a feast is in order. And Thorin is, "Hear, hear." And so, apart from that, and food is brought out. Well, that's sorry. There's the feast hall right in the east wing here. And Elrond gestures to come inside. At some point, I'm going to map the interior of Elrond, but it's a big ask. It's going to get there someday. But
Yeah, the numerous floors kind of do it in.
sorry?
The numerous floors kind of add to that.
Yeah, there's a few of them. But
Maybe by then RPG stories will have the 3D stuff all.
well, that's kind of what I'm holding out for a little bit. But anyway, this eastern hall underneath the library is the feast hall. But yeah, there's I think 3 or 4 floors, and there's subterranean levels as well.
Yeah, I think there's like a wine cellar.
Yeah,
For our entire.
and there's just there's caves
Were we-
underneath as well, where things are stored from times past, and there is a rough map in first edition, so I will use that anyway. But there's still a lot of work. But will we go to all the rooms? I don't know. It's just a fun thing to do.
I think there's also a map in the Rivendell one, the new one.
Yeah. Although I've kind of taken liberty and used inspiration from the films for this map,
Right.
with a nod towards the books. I don't want to deviate from the books too much, but definitely not with the lore. Just to look a little bit. Anyway, successful council. All right, so we're now at the halfway point, so I wondered if we want to take just a little break and come back, and then we can kind of take care of this thing with the arena and then plan your journey east. All right.
You mean you don't want to describe every tree
Every tree,
in great,
uh,
yeah, in great
the
detail?
the entire journey on the way back to Erebor, every little bit of it. Now we are going to summarize that one, I believe.
Typical Tolkien fashion.
Yes. Okay. Um, it is the next night. Oh, damn it. Of course, I'm not on the right thing. And because I went to the trouble to make it, it's going to happen. Up underneath the falls. Gandalf and Elrond will be there. And bring the rest of you just so that you can come here. You guys have gained the power of Gandalf to be able to float across Rivendell. It only works there. You can't do it anywhere else.
Bright lights.
Yeah. Well, it's the light of the stars. And although Herobrand's not on the edge, about to jump off, let's move him back a bit. I can't take it. This is too much.
He's gonna pull a lack and swan dive off into
Oh
it.
yeah. I'm an Olympic diver. All right. So you can see there is a shape on this raised, sort of flat, engraved podium in front of Elrond. There's a shape wrapped up in material. You can guess that's probably the crown. I need to change the music, actually. And he steps up to it. And he turns to you, all of you. If you could all gather in like a half circle behind me. Actually, we just need to move Fulvus over. Except he can't see there. Trade places with Herobrand.
Yes, sir.
And he turns around and he opens a fold of the cloth one bit by bit. And quite a contrast to see this thing of evil sat upon a podium with carven elvish designs and runes. And he turns around, and he's facing not you. I mean, he's not facing you guys, but he's facing outwards. He's facing the helm. And he looks up, and a beam of light comes down and bathes the entire area there. And he begins speaking very, very quietly. You can't really make it out. And then it's kind of in a low voice, and then he eventually gets louder and louder. You can tell some of the words are familiar to you, not what they mean necessarily, except for Angamandil and Wanderer. You're the only two that know this. I don't actually Wanderer. He's speaking Quenya. Do you know Quenya, or is it only Sindarin? I would say you probably know some words in Quenya, but that's like the Latin.
I don't think I ever defined that.
You do know Sindarin, that's the common tongue of the elves, but Quenya is like the Latin for them.
I mean, I spend a lot of time there, but I would probably say no. The common tongue, I would imagine, is what they use the most.
You would know a few words anyway, but you would know that it is Quenya by the sound of it. But he speaks louder and gets louder as he does it. Not deafening, but just comes up from a mumble. And although you don't know these words, but he says, Quiela rila yaviokala carne. Rinquoresenai Stefano. La Lythkilai Vanave. Romenduin Helka Revaten Tuila. And he repeats that phrase over and over. And Angamandia, what it is, what he is saying is, it's a phrase that it's talking about the fading of the curse, power of, like, he references a closed fist, a swearing of protection and of binding within this vessel. Those are the kind of words that he's using in this ritual. And after he says it a few times, the light coming from the stars seems to get really bright around the crown. Almost like it was focused on it. And then the beam of light stops, other than just general light, because it's a half full moon out. But the crown remains with a slight bluish silvery glow. Elrond holds his hands close to the crown. And then pulls his hands away and turns around to you all. I believe I have been successful. And he looks to Gandalf. Gandalf closes his eyes, leans on his staff for a moment. And before he opens his eyes, he starts shaking his head yes. And opens them and has a smile on his face. Slight smile. And Elrond says, tomorrow then, we shall see if Arwen will bless us with her presence, and we can free her of this torment that she has carried for age. And he wraps the crown back up, carries it with two hands in front of him in reverence. Now the way I never explained this to you in the map, but behind Herobrand there is tried to make it with the shadow there, it's the tunnel, goes under the mountain, it all winds up down here at the bottom. Down there. I'm going to carry you all back down. As you float again across Rivendell. So the idea is for the next day to go out and travel out to the fords Bruinen, which takes you a good part of the day, not all of it, mind you, but and you just step across the edge just outside the boundaries of Rivendell. That would the closest she could come to Rivendell with a curse like that. And there's a place, there's like a clearing in the woods there. And there's like a tree that had fallen down and a large boulder next to it. And Elrond sits the crown up on this boulder and slowly unwraps it. And he looks to you, your fellowship. Call to her.
Ben will kind of look around, and she appears usually out of nowhere, like behind a tree. So he goes, Eremina, it is time. If you are not watched. Look up to the stars.
Time goes by. Some time goes by. Nothing happens. And Elrond is patient and waits. Do the rest of you say anything?
No.
Might try to sing.
What would you choose?
That is always the question.
Elven hymn to Elbereth sounds.
I mean, let's see. Baron and Luthien, like, singing something from the first age. That's more of when she was, around. I'll do that. I'll sing the song of Baron and Luthien. It's, like, really long, too, so...
Yeah, there's that. The Song of the Sea, reminding her of...
Yeah, definitely. Okay, let's give a roll and see if you're singing in key or not, or if it's... your voice is cracking. No, I'm not having an Eye of Sauron. Reroll that one. Reroll the feet die on that one.
Not seeing any role in my chat.
Yeah.
Actually, the only thing, I guess I see Fulvis's great success, and then it says
Scroll
I should
up.
be miserable.
Scroll up. Oh, it isn't even showing up for you?
It's showing
I
it for
see
me.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, well,
failure with a roll of 11.
You got an Eye of Sauron, but you got one success. But I'm not having that Eye of Sauron. In the presence of Gandalf and Elrond, there is no way. And
I don't know.
a
Trying
blessed
to summon her.
crown.
Now we're not. Fucking Balrog emerges instead.
We are kind of a beacon of light at this point.
Roll initiative.
Yeah.
So should I just do a single d6 from the macro bar?
No, do a single feet die.
Is there a button for it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
should
the
be.
macro bar.
Yeah, the macro has it.
For me, it's the first button.
Yeah, it's where I put it on all of you.
I just hadn't clicked on it. I got it. I thought it was a different. Yeah, nothing. I'm gonna reboot after this.
Yeah. Well, it worked, but it's still it's not enough to give you. No, it does. No, it does. It gives you a 13 instead of a 16. You need a 16 to pass it. So it's you sang it, but it didn't. It
There's just
wasn't.
awkward silence
It wasn't.
afterwards.
Yes. It was. Yeah, it's good. Well done. Yeah, I liked it. No, just
Nobody joined.
it, it, it doesn't necessarily, when you make a song, it doesn't necessarily mean you're out of key or anything like that. Maybe you.
Ron's like rubbing his temple, just like, please stop.
I've heard cats squeal better than this.
Well, I
And-
guess we're near water. Near water, and I see stars, and I mean, I guess I could try to sing the song of Durin. I feel like that's appropriate. Although I don't know, it's not gonna call her necessarily. But...
No. That's too funny.
Ah, jeez.
Although you did a good song earlier at the council.
I'm kind of young for an elf, so I don't know the first stage songs quite as well.
That's it. That's how we'll interpret
That's your
that.
excuse, and you're sticking to it.
They had to keep helping me with the words along the way.
Sound it out. Remember your classes on Quenya.
Sound like I did last week with my kids. Sound it out before you try to spell your words.
Are you gonna roll, Jacob?
Oh, to sing? I
Yeah.
can try.
I thought you were
okay.
going to. Sorry, you don't have to if that's not what you wanted to do. I thought that's what you were planning
Uh,
to do.
Well, I was planning on it. I mean, it's not gonna bring her out necessarily, but I'll sing. I'll sing it. Why not?
Are we having sing along? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
99 bottles of beer on the wall.
That's what equivalent of Dory's songs. Make the elf look bad. That's why you chose to sing, is for that reason alone.
I'm helping him.
Yes.
Sure.
Come on, young man.
Anyway. It isn't necessarily because of that song. Because it doesn't happen right away.
Passing the time.
But you begin to feel a presence, really. Know that there is something that draws near, but not a worry. And she does indeed show up, walking through the woods. And approaches you all. And for the life of me, I forget Gandalf's Maiar name.
Oh, Lauren.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
I'm glad y'all can remember that stuff.
And when she comes into the group, she looks at all of you, and her eyes light up when she sees Gandalf. Oh, Lauren. It's been an age. Gandalf, you never thought you'd see this. There's almost a tear in his eye. Erowina. It is not good to see you bound this way. The friends you have made amongst my friends here have worked very hard to help bring an end to your torment. And she continues. Long have I been in service to the enemy against my will. It has been a torment and has crushed my spirit. Elrond. This crown before you once belonged to the enemy. A blessing has been put upon it. Place it upon your head, and it should draw the curse out of you. And she steps up to the rock and looks at it for a long time. The crown, that is. And looks to each of you, those of you, the fellowship. Regardless of what happens, I am blessed to have friends such as you. That someone would do this for me. She turns back to the crown, picks it up, places it on her head, closes her eyes. And the crown begins to glow, and she sort of stiffens up and kind of lifts her chin. The crown glows brighter. And then falls off of her head. And there's still a light sort of pulsating glow afterwards. And she just breathes in deeply. And you see her whole countenance just change. And she glows brighter. She always had a bit of a glow about her, but now it's just, it lights up the whole clearing. I'm free. I am free. And her eyes open and she's got a big smile on her face. You have done it. And she walks about. It's almost like if she was before had been weighed down by chains, but she's almost dancing about to some extent. And she comes to each one of you, of the fellowship, grabs your hand and thanks you. And goes to Elrond and Gandalf as well. And then turns to address you all. I go now to be with my people in the West. Forever shall be my blessing upon you in your quest against the shadow. Look to the sky under the light of the stars to receive it, and long may you be victorious and steadfast and brave. And she has a smile on her face. And then fades away. Now, if you want to write down in game terms, although I'll have it written down just to remember, but I'll put it on the summary of bonuses handout that I made. Once per night, not once per session, but once per night, when you're outside under the light of the stars, you can re-roll any feat die roll. And after she faded away, there's a light from a star that seems to kind of, very faintly, follow you. So you now have the benefit of a lucky star.
Well,
Oh,
it's
great.
cool.
Bane will say, well, kind of as she said, we'll need it if we are to confront Mormok. I hope she had more information on that, but that's fine.
Oops, I forgot to give you that. I got so involved with that, she comes back. Oh, wait a minute, I forgot something. Fades back in. Stupid
Little
me.
ADD here. No.
I was halfway to the Undying Lands and I forgot. I'm so sorry, guys.
Good. I'm assuming it just happens before she fades.
It does indeed. It's just
Before the veil passes and the gold curtain
Yeah.
opens, she
Yeah.
jumps back in the water and swims back to Middle Earth. Yeah.
really fast.
Yeah.
It's just, and I forgot my wallet. Sorry.
Lord.
No, keys. I forgot the key. I forgot my keys. Sorry.
Going nowhere fast without this.
More mug. His plans greatly thwarted by you. He's turned his attention to rebuilding his tunnel. But in addition to that, he has set scouting parties into Eriador to look for more servants, as he calls them. But also to go west to look upon the progress of the other camps. But he has often been in conversation or in commune with the evil one in the east, he who shall not be named. You know of who I speak. There are plans, although I have not been made aware of them. The enemy from the east is controlling what happens here in the west. He's looking for something. Something very powerful. We know not what. And he's got something major planned. Be very wary in your journeys. And who knows? Maybe I'll see you again. Okay, now I'm going. That she said all that right before she gave you her blessing. That's what I should have done. Thought my memory would be good enough, but it was not. I should have wrote it down. Anyway, so she has departed. Gandalf doesn't speak on the journey back. He's very lost in thought, the way he often does. But you do detect a smile on his face, slightly. Which also isn't the most common thing to see. Okay. Return back to Rivendell and sleep. So, need to see what you guys are planning for journey. Sorry, I'm just writing down Arowina's blessing for you on your summary sheet. There we go. Now you can see it. I'll drag it to the top. There you go. It's the first one, so you all have that one. Okay. So, the time has come for you guys to make plans as to who's going where are you planning to spend Yule, and what are you planning to do? And there is, I don't know if when we were at break, I did make a list of everything. It's under the journal tab under the One Ring rules. And then there's a tab called Fellowship Phase Undertakings. It might be easier if you prefer. I've also got it on the One Ring resources on Discord. That would allow you to open up a spreadsheet. I think a Google Doc or something like that, or a Google Sheets thing, or Doc. I can't remember what I used now. But I'll tell you of the others. This may change, or let's see. Of the 25 dwarves that came with you, 15 are planning to return to the Arid Luin with tidings of the council decisions, along with 3 of your 7, Einar, Vidar, and Ginar, as they are from the Arid Luin. Those 3 were the first 3 that you rescued from the bandit camp. It's like 3rd session, something like that. They've been with you the longest. And the other 10 who are from the Arid Luin will still continue on to Erebor to see Thorin safe. And a few of them have mentioned they've got family there as well, so be good to visit, and they'll spend Yule there with you. Those same 10 will likely journey back with you, Bane, after Yule, when you come back this way. So you're going to have a safe journey, but
well, that's the path we choose.
True. We're going to go straight through Mirkwood.
Well, I mean,
if you want to talk to Thranduil, you're going to go through Mirkwood, but
yeah. Well, because my thought is like, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but going to the Grey Mountains is just dangerous at this point. So close to Gundabad and Graham.
It is. It was safer for a while, at least, right after the Battle of the Five Armies, but that's 24 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, we could take the High Pass, but then, of course, we would have to take the Old Forest Road. Or I guess we could take the High Pass and then go to the Great Mountains, which would avoid some of the worst of it. But
yeah. The other 4 dwarf NPCs are also going to make that journey. They're from Erebor.
Yeah. Caparohan's just way too far south.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah, we have to go. Even then, you're still going. You still have to get through the forest.
Well, I mean,
all the way around Mirkwood.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, I mean, even though officially, I guess the Old Forest Road's the most protected part of the, probably.
I mean, if you go south of it, I mean, you're in the Brownlands, and I mean, you can't. I mean, yeah, I gotta go. It's just.
Yeah, probably the same. I mean, if they're saying
near Mordor.
If they're saying the Old Forest Road is not safe to take, probably the best path would be High Pass and then go north to.
Do we have a map of that too?
Yeah, it's in the realm of Middle Earth.
Here, let's I'll activate it so we all can see it, and then it's on the recording as well.
Oh yeah, okay.
Why is that blue square there?
Because we're Rivendell, so probably to take the High Pass probably.
Yeah, I mean that's typically what you do from Rivendell.
We could even. I mean, I don't know if he's gonna. He
We could
probably
take
won't help.
Counter-Dross.
Well, no, let's not take that. But
Could go through Moria.
We could take.
Yeah.
yeah. But
My cousin will give you a warm.
Is this different? I hear Balin would give us a
I'm gonna delete
great
all.
feast.
I'm gonna delete all these X's and drawings on here, guys. Those are from in the past. Is that all right?
yeah,
Yeah.
We've kind of remarked them on the map of Eriador.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to delete them, but it won't let me. Oh, come on.
Yeah, I mean, there's really no. You gotta take the old forest road, really, and chance it. And
well, my
growing
thought
strength-
is,
growing strength through that. I think.
well, you could go because we could go because High Pass
Yeah.
up past Karok, which we could. I mean, I don't know how much the Bjornings are going to help, but you could stop by Bjorn and see if he's willing to toss some support or information some way.
Well, the woodmen of the forest could help a little bit, maybe.
They're more south, but yeah. But I mean, because my point is, if we go north, you can skirt the worst of the forest.
No, you're asking for trouble.
What?
There's
Skirting
trouble
north?
either way. There's trouble either way, but it's quicker just going straight through the whole forest with.
Well, they just said that that's the most dangerous path.
At the moment.
Compared to going to the Gray Mountains.
Well, because the Grey Mountain part I'm worried about is this part. If we get to the other side of the river, and then go close to the Grey Mountains where it's like over here, or if we just follow the forest river,
where there's still probably here there be dragons, not as great as Smaug, but
well, they stick mostly to the mountains. They don't like.
But still, it's
You did mention.
Well, I mean that was.
Bane, what you did mention. So, what you have learned from the council, Northern Mirkwood, Thranduil has been successful preventing Northern Mirkwood of being invaded by any of the spiders. So, at least getting up to the Forest River and taking that down will take you right to the elves. Obviously,
Yeah, that's
you know
what I was
that.
saying. Yeah, because we could just follow the river there.
Try that if you want.
And the river flows south, as you know. Well, east, isn't it?
Try that. That's fine, I guess. What exactly did we hear about the old forest road again?
That
It's basically the dividing line at this point.
yeah, Thranduil and his forces, along with the help of Dale, has managed to prevent the spiders from spreading any further north, but or spreading beyond the realm of the wood. But it is dangerous.
The forest road is still dangerous.
Yes, more than it usually was.
How big would our party be?
You'll have 14 dwarves plus. No, 15 dwarves, because that'll include Hogar.
And Thorn?
Thorn. So that's 16. 17 with Bane. 18 with Harabrand. I believe that is all, unless. I can't imagine Wanderer or Fulvis are wanting to spend Yule over in Rovanian, but
Yeah. 18
No.
is a lot of. It's a pretty big force. I mean.
Well, I mean, they took on the spiders and Bilbo's company took on 13. 5 more is not that much more.
You
than
know, they
13.
fell asleep, whatever, you know. That's fine. I mean, we don't have to worry about that till we cross the river anyway, the old ford, and maybe we'll get some information from like Bjornings or something, or who knows, you know.
Yeah, and again, I'm not so worried about the Grey Mountain. I just didn't want to take the path that leads in Eriador. It's like the path is literally, it's like, hey, let's go buy Mount Graham.
Still could be orcs up there. Who knows, you know? I mean, there's no place is safe anymore.
because they're mainly focusing around Eriador, because they even going north on this side of the mountains is dangerous.
Oh yeah.
But like once we're over the river, I'm less worried about going north. It's just I didn't want to walk through the pass where Thorin literally got ambushed and taken, which is basically where that was.
Okay. I mean, we don't have to make a decision until we cross the Gulf War.
Okay. Now, for this, because, like as I said to you guys, I don't want to go through the proper journey rules. I just kind of want to narrate a bit to get back. I don't know if that's okay.
Sure.
But a few points along the way will slow it down just to some people that you might meet or whatever, or just the information like you're talking about, finding out, was this safe, blah, 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 that sort of stuff. What are the rest of you planning to do? How about you, Wanderer?
I've been trying to debate that. Would I stay in Rivendell or maybe go to Bree and help keep an eye on the Shire from Bree? Because I can't see the Rangers letting the cold stop them from their task of protecting folks.
No, and people have been taken from the Bree area.
Yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, you do get certain bonuses depending on where you decide to range.
You're not mistaken at all. So yeah, there's certain different tasks that you can do in different parts of the room.
Yeah, I think I'd go to Bree, kind of being central to most of things.
Okay. How about you, Fulvus?
Fulvus is going to head back to the Shire.
Okay. And then Angamandil is, of course, staying here in Rivendell.
Yes, I will be crafting. I have an idea for an artifact.
Is that what you've been doing this whole time, is looking through those rules and what shall I make? Okay.
Surprised there's no Shire stuff in this Fellowship phase undertaking.
Yeah, I don't think there isn't anything special for them at all, is there? I don't believe so. I don't think I forgot to add.
They might just not have one. I mean, they have it's Dale, Erebor, Rivendell.
Yeah. Oh,
not a lot for the Woodland Realm.
Oh, I know why there isn't. A lot of those extra ones there is I've added from first edition rules, but first edition was more focused on Ravanian.
Right.
And so the ones I have for the Shire are just the basic ones that were included with the second edition rules. Maybe I should create some. Cultivate some pipeweed. Would that be one? Brew some ale. Plant a garden.
Yeah.
Those are Shire specific things. Okay, so journeying west. So along the east-west road, assuming that's the road, it's the most advised road to take anyway. Wanderer and Fulvus, 15 of the host of dwarves from the Arid Luine, plus the 3 of the 7 who have been your traveling companions. will all travel together in one company, and quite a sight that will be to see. When you get to Bree, Wanderer will say her farewells, and the rest of the dwarves will be escorting one hobbit to the Shire. And dwarves are not strangers passing through the Shire. And it'll be quite the talk of town there. Fulvis came in with, what was it, 19 dwarves.
Oh, plus you have Gandalf, so.
Oh yes, Gandalf is going as well, the wizard. Actually, upon hearing that, when you said you were going to go back to the Shire, Gandalf said, "Oh, I will stop for a time in the Shire to say hello to Bilbo before heading on west." All right. And then going east will be the 17 dwarves and 1 human. Almost equal numbers, going split in 2 different directions. All right. For Fulvis, Wanderer, and Agamandil, if you guys would spend, unless you've already decided it, spend a moment figuring out what you want to do for a fellowship, for a Yule phase. Let me remind you. Let's see. Hold on. Let me get it right here. You can see. Because it's a little bit different for you. Come on, move. Okay, undertakings, there it is. 21. So you get to choose. So as you know, I've kind of modified the rules the way I feel it should be, because it's supposed to be a group undertaking, and some of them make sense that can only be a group, but I believe I've written on the handout. Sorry, yeah, I've written if it's individual or group. There's a column. It's got I or G. So if you're all separating, then you can only choose I undertakings. But for a Yule, you could get 2 of them, but not 2 of the same. So keep that in mind.
Okay.
And I'll let you look through that, and I'm going to deal with this journey east. All right. So, Harabrand and Bane, so, I guess the morning of departure, are you all planning to leave at the same time, those of you going west and those of you going east? I assume maybe a couple of days after the meeting with Arowena would be about the time you guys depart.
Probably easier.
Which should be the 20th of Narquilia. All right. Let me make a note. made a note that the 20th is the departure. All right, we'll calculate time and distance as we go. Anyway, so you guys have been journeying together for just over 2 months, almost 3. Actually, 3 months together, and I've dealt with all this, so it's a bit of a brisk morning when you all depart. And a host of elves is there to bid you on your way. For Bane and Harabrand, I just want to narrate this to getting back.
Okay.
Just to make a longer story shorter, just so that it's, the rest aren't just sitting around and watching it. Plus, I want to wrap up. So you're going across the high pass first, and getting into the land of the Bjarnings before headed north, or seeing what the Bjarnings have to say before you make a decision. You're going to get to the other side of the river and then decide what's going on.
Yeah, kind of seeing what they have to say and maybe trying to beseech them for some aid.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I wanted to, for individual councils, as far as persuading people for aid for the task in Eriador, I wanted to wait until the next phase of the campaign to deal with that.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, on your journey back is when you're gathering aid, because I want to spend the time properly for it.
Gotcha.
And if that's okay. So let me calculate journey times.
At the very least, they can let us know which way is better. Not to mention, I think the last time we passed through, Belaganor and his friendly folk were looking at both ends. So
Yeah.
him and his road guard.
Yes. Let's see. Okay. Just looking at distances on here. One second, so I can do this properly. Okay, it's the same. Brilliant. So let's see. When you're taking horses, even with horses and across the high pass, you've got, let me show you on this map, you've got 5 days really of journey to get to there. You can see that just when the land gets smooth again and you're on that road. Let me advance. Nope, wrong button. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Meanwhile, those of you going west, You've got some people on foot, like the whole host of dwarves are not on horseback. So you are just to the last bridge by the time that they get to the other side of the mountain. Keep that in mind. And within a day, you're at the old ford.
Okay.
So 6 days from leaving Rivendell, you're there. The Bjornings are just north of the road, as you, I'm sure, well know. And passing through their land, they occupy the east of the river, as I'm sure you all well know. I see the gift. It's that Dane welcoming you guys back when you get back. It's about time. I can't get the persona of I forget the actor who played him. I just imagined Dane like that the whole time.
Oh,
What's his name? He's a comedian. Scottish comedian.
yeah. From head of the class. What was his name?
And I'm living in that part of the world.
It'll come to me in a minute.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
not-
anyway,
I mean, I found it, but if you want to remember it, it's up to you.
all right. Oh, I know now. Starts with a B
Billy.
and a C.
Billy Connolly.
Yeah. Perfect for the role. Anyway. You are no strangers, not complete strangers anyway, through this area, and you've passed through once before on your way. And you are remembered. As you know, the Bjornings remain suspicious of travelers, or wary of travelers, as Beorn is. But you are welcomed and given and allowed to rest on their land and provisions replenished. And some warm meals cooked for you. And some good ale. Not to mention some honey cakes and some of the honey that Beorn likes. But as far as your travels go, and that's another day of the journey up into the Beorns. That puts those of you going west. You are. Where's that at? There we go. You're right at where the road curves up to the north. You're right at the top of that point. Right there. Anyway, the Bjornids tell you that the old forest road is indeed something to be avoided. They keep a close watch on the western entry into it, but they haven't dared to go inside or not very far. The forest gate, there's an elf path. Further north is a lot safer. Now that doesn't show up on the big Realm of Middle-earth map. It is a day and a half's journey from where you're at. It goes about right there. It goes north of the mountains of Mirkwood, and then curves up when it gets close to the river, but it does skirt close to an area of danger. And then, of course, Beorn in his typical distrustful self said, but then you've got the elves to deal with. Going north, across the Grey Mountains, or not across them, but just between them and the wood, still remains, since the Battle of the Five Armies, it still remains relatively safe. So the further north you go, the safer you're going to be. But he suggests he would hug along the forest as you go north until you get up to the pass between the Grey Mountains and the woods.
All right.
But you are given leave to remain here in their land for as many days as you need before you journey on.
I don't see any reason we wouldn't follow his advice.
Yeah, it's fun.
All right. You're going to go up by the Grey Mountains.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me calculate time just so I can have the map updated. Let's see. It's plains and you're on horseback. Okay, it's another 6 days and you get up. Where are you at? Get up to here, right underneath the E of the Grey. And we advance time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Meanwhile, those of you going west. 6 days puts you just passing Weathertop. You were right. The 4th and 5th day, you were right next to Weathertop. You skirted around it. Another 3 days you will be in Bree, and will bid your farewell to Wanderer. In the north, sorry, going east, let's see. Because it's really hilly up here, as you know, so it's kind of slowed you down. Five days puts you there, and the land becomes plain again.
See Erebor.
And you can see the mountain. So, but really quickly on the 3rd day, the 6th of Hisame, which is the same as November. Wanderer arrives in Bree. Making a note on the calendar for all this. And then it's the 8th. You guys are up there. And then the rest of you carry on. Let's see, Wonderland. 4 days to Erebor and Dale. And going east. There's a lot of difference a horseback maze because you guys are getting across the mountains into Erebor before they're getting to the Shire. By the time they get to Erebor, they're just coming up to the Brandywine Bridge. Let me make a note. Hairbrand and Bane. Arrive in Dale / Erebor. And two days later, the dwarves and Fulvis arrive in the Shire on the 14th. But I'm just going to write Fulvis. And that's the last note I'll make on there for that. Okay. Sorry, my tea is working through me really bad. I need to make a quick bio, but and then just think of what you want to do with your fellowship, with your Yule. I'll be right back.
Okay, the Shadow Scar system is pretty cool, actually.
Yep.
Who has a Shadow point right now? I do.
Well,
Temporary.
me and Herobrine got to like 7 and 8 respectively. It was something ridiculous, so I just
Holy crap,
hardened
really?
will. Yeah, so that's why. Yeah, because when you get attacked by a spirit of Angmar, yeah, that happens. So I hardened will, so I'm probably gonna heal my Shadow Scar this.
Yeah,
this
same with
heal.
me.
Alright, I'm back now.
That's one of my actions.
Alright.
Interesting.
Yeah, that spirit that did sorcery on us was not kind to our shadow plants.
Now, I've got shadow points to remove from you guys too, anyway, but just from adventuring. But and you also get bonus skill points from going into Yule.
Equal to your wits.
Yeah, so I'll do that in just a moment. I just want to wrap up the arrival into Erebor. And just a bit of narration here, really. So, Dane can hardly believe his eyes when Bane and Thorin return. Now, Herobrine, I suspect you'll go straight to Dale.
Mm-hmm.
And then to Bard.
Mm-hmm.
To receive a full debriefing. I will deal with those things properly when we come back in the second book, I'm calling it. In Erebor, Dane can't stop swearing and just exclaiming in excitement, and a rare bit of emotion seen on his face. And he wants to hear the entire story, but first, celebration. But you can still see there's a bit of worry just behind that look of celebration. And if you've mentioned a little bit that, briefly the troubles in Eriador, He's not interested right now. Today we celebrate. My son has returned.
I believe we sent a bird ahead of us, so he knows some of it.
Yes, he would have. And, well, hell, Herobrand could have sent one of his birds as well. But in the middle of the drinking, and it's a couple of days of drinking, and that's just by this point. There'll be more. Dane takes you aside, Bane. Takes you on a walk.
All right.
And under the mountain. And he says, "You've given me back something that I value more than gold. Don't tell anyone that, though."
Of course not, Mike.
No, it's serious. He kind of gives you a punch on the arm.
Bane kind of gives a hearty laugh, and he's bold enough. I think he'll give him a little pushback.
You have. It's not like you're a lowly subject. Yeah, you were his champion. Now, actually, I forgot to back up. Prior to this walk, amongst the whole hall of dwarves, he bangs his mug, spills a lot of ale, and speaks really loudly, and his voice can carry.
Especially in the echoey cave.
Oh yes, the cave helps. We drink now to Bane, who has brought my son back. And I hereby, Bane, give you the title of Champion of Erebor. I mean that. Carry it. Wear it with pride. And he raises his cup of ale. But what's Bane do? Sorry.
No, Bane bows his head and says, "Thank you, my king. I shall. Although I was not alone in my efforts and all, because I'm nice.
You're a dwarf. It was still your leadership."
I know, but I'll still give proper credit where credit is due. I'll gesture to the dwarves that helped me that are here, that I rescued. But
And he nods to all of them as well, and then drinks up. Then he takes you on the walk. Shortly after that, after there's been some more drinking.
Yeah, well, our walk is becoming a stumble. Yeah.
Well, there is that, but I want to give you a gift. Two gifts, actually. I think your efforts are worthy of that. And although I don't want to hear about it right now, I know there is more trouble. Takes another sip. And he's leading you down into the vaults. And he leads you into an area that you know is more of his personal sort of area. And I'm going to give you these, and you're going to take them.
I'll do as my king commands, although my actions weren't for any prize, other than, of course, a good orc head or two.
Spoken like a true dwarf. And he goes to a chest, and he opens it up, and a glow comes out. And he holds up a coat of mithril mail.
Ooh.
I want you to have this.
My Durin's beard. I kind of look at it.
This, my lad, is from Khazad-dûm. And I've kept it all these years. May it protect you well.
It shall, king. So rich a gift. I kind of take it, light as a feather.
Alright, go on. Put it on. Let me see how it looks on you.
Yes. And I kind of, Bane's actually a little taken aback by that because he's told to undress, but he has to shuffle off all his mail.
I won't look. I'm not that way.
takes off the helmet, his mail. It's quite a process.
It
But
takes a
he
while.
eventually does.
Dane stumbles
Takes
a little
off.
bit and drinks while you're doing it. It's some time. He's fallen down a couple of times and got back up and laughed at himself. Then he turns
But,
around.
you know,
That suits you. Gift number 2. And he
I believe
goes.
there's another gift on top of this. I'll say.
And he goes. It's almost like he can't find it at first. He's looking through the. No. No, that's not it. He's got quite a lot of stuff, but here it is. And he pulls out a great axe. And you know of this great axe. And he's looking at it. His back is to you, and then he turns around. This is Duagnul. And in Kuzdul, that means your grave.
Fine name.
This belonged to Frerin, second son of Thrain II, younger brother to Thorin Oakenshield. My cousin. Frerin, he fell in the battle of Azanobazar. So Thrain II lost a son that day. That king lost a son. This king, and he points a thumb to himself, has gained a son back. I want you to bear this. And I want you to take it and rid Eriador of the foul beast who took my son. Can you do that for me, lad?
I'll take the axe in my hand and go, I can do that. Drive them out of our home. And in this axe and its namesake's memory, with each dwarf with which each orc cleaved, mark a tally as even.
Now, more drink. And he leads you back into the celebrations. Okay, therein I want to end the narration, and let's deal with Yule stuff and experience and removal of shadow points and that sort of thing. Oh yes, one more thing. The axe.
Oh, okay.
He explains to you that this axe is blessed. And I know not how it will take to you. But I know one thing. when you hit someone really good with it, they literally go flying. And he just laughs and laughs and laughs. It's so fun. It's the funniest thing to see. To see those orc heads just fly. Or the orc bodies, actually, is so good.
Ben will laugh and goes, "Well, they'll be flying a lot more now."
And I am going to make a handout available to you. I'll make everyone able to observe it, actually, because I've done that with the others. But you'll see a picture of it. And a brief history. And then a bit about the game rules for what that blessing will do. It's a blessing of hammering.
Sounds cool.
Kind of like the way at the beginning of the first film, how Sauron on the battlefield swung his mace and they all went flying. Not quite that extent, because that is Sauron, but but it kind of has that ability. And I haven't made a handout, I'm sorry, for your armor, but I will do that.
You mean AKA the Wealth of the Shire?
Yeah. Told you I wouldn't forget about you.
Oh,
All right. Here we are then. So, I'm going to give experience in just a moment. But you can all add a number of skill points equal to your wits.
Wits. That's the little one, right? 4.
Depends on who. Oh, it's the little number. Sorry, I thought 4's not such a low wits. What's wrong with you?
No.
Good.
You
It's
got the
pretty
big box
decent,
and the
actually.
little box, and
Yeah, it's a little box.
my wits is 4. It's
still
the one I really suck at is heart, to be honest.
I got you covered for heart. Don't worry.
Yeah.
And Fulvus, did you hear that? Yeah, or are you away at the moment? You're muted. I didn't know if you stepped away.
Oh, sorry, my wife just got a call. I missed it.
Oh, okay. We're now just divvying out points and stuff and dealing with Yule undertakings.
Okay.
So first off, you get a number of skill points equal to your wits. And I will do the experience allotment here.
Just out of curiosity, because it is a handout, did the crown leave with Aramina, or did it?
it
Flat
fell
into
off
your
of
eye.
her.
It fell off of her, and I didn't finish narrating that. As it took the curse, it fell off of her. Elrond would have wrapped it up in the cloth again.
Okay.
And Agamandil will know. The rest of you don't, because he told Agamandil, but Gandalf knows this anyway, but it will be stored away deep underneath the House of Elrond.
That's good. Just want to make sure we didn't leave. I mean, it was purified, but
Yeah,
still don't want to leave.
There's a cursed crown there on the edge of Rivendell. Alright, I'm going to give you some adventure points and skill points. You should have all got some. Yes. Should have worked to all of you automatically. Alright. And then because your deeds over this last major adventuring phase before. I mean, it's been, God, a month since you've been to Rivendell. Easily, if not longer, to be honest. What you have done has gained the attention of the Dark Lord himself, but you have actively hindered and damaged the plan of his. You all can remove 3 shadow points, and that includes elves.
The temporary ones?
Let me see. Let me look at your character sheet.
Shadow points. Shadow points are temporary. Shadow scars are permanent.
Yeah, that's right. Where's that at on your character
Okay.
sheet? Yeah. Shadow points are. If you remove the temporary, then it makes the big one go down, and then shadow scars.
Okay.
If you add them, those two add up. But yeah.
Gotcha.
I sadly have none now, but that's because I found it prudent to survive that fight. So
So I don't have a shadow scar then, do I? Or
I forget if we've already. I honestly don't remember.
because I had an
Said-
awful lot of
so
shadow
you-
points. I had 7 shadow points.
I just read about it. So it says you gain shadow points, and then those cannot be removed unless it's like a GM discretion. But you can, if you can take all your shadow points and turn them into a single shadow scar, which you then have to spend an action and 5 adventure points during a Yule to remove the
Right.
scar.
Yeah.
So even if
Yeah,
you still
well-
have some shadow points, it might be worth taking it to a single scar.
Yeah. I was just-
Well, he might have 0 because I forget what we did for him last session was my point because he was also really high before that final fight in the last session. So I forget if I hardened him or not. I'd have to go back
I
to
think we decided. Oh, we were going to, but we decided that Herobrand would just.
tough through it.
Yeah, he tough through it because that's how he is acted in all the combats. And
Okay. So then I'll spend 5 then to get rid of the shadow. Okay.
it's 5
Well,
adventure.
no, you don't have to spend 5 because
Right.
because you're lowering 3 right now. So what are you at 7? So you have 4 shadow points left.
4 now, yeah.
So you could turn those 4 into 1 shadow scar, and then spend 5 adventure points to get rid of that.
Right.
It's up to
Yeah,
you
you
if
can
you
do
want to
that.
spend the adventure points on that. So
Well, I have the 4 shadow points. What's that do to me? Anything yet? It's
Basically, if your hope drops below 4, you become miserable.
miserable, right?
Yeah.
So keep in mind, adventure points are used to raise wisdom and valor,
Yeah.
or a combat proficiency, and then skill points are for skills.
Okay.
So you got to weigh up what you really want, and then I would kind of like to have those things sorted out before we ever even start.
Yeah.
So we got a little start the next phase.
Mhm.
We got a little bit of time left today.
So if I took that, I'd be down to 23, right? Okay. It's down to 23.
How many do you have total? Wow, you've got a lot of adventure points.
Who, me?
Yeah. Wow. Been banking
So
I
this
those.
didn't, I didn't
says-
buy anything last time, yeah.
Sorry, wait, say unicorn.
You got a shadow still. You reach your maximum hope. That's when everything is ill-favored. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to do. I think I'll raise my valor, and then get rid of the shadow, and that'll be 25 points.
Does raising your valor get you?
That may
another-
unlock something on the sword. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, it will do. So going from a 2 to a 3, so you got.
So if I do that,
So that cost you 12 points to go to a valor of 3.
oh, it only cost me 12. Okay.
Yeah. There's a
Okay. So,
there's a chart. You guys don't have that chart, do you?
I do.
No,
have
it's-
a book,
it's
so-
alright.
If you got the book, it's on page 119. I don't think
But
I
I think
put
you
it
can
on.
only level up 1 adventuring Oh, unless the Yule's different. I don't know. I don't think it is.
Uh,
I think you're only allowed to one.
You can only raise wisdom or valor, but not both.
Yeah, so it's 12.
Or combat, I think.
Well, you can do valor or wisdom. However, a combat proficiency. How do I word this? It's not a choice between whether you raise a combat proficiency or valor or wisdom. It's just
It's separate.
It's separate, but a combat proficiency you can only raise a proficiency up by 1. You can't jump ranks in it, but you could raise sword
Valor
and
and
axes. Yeah, you can do valor, and then you could raise sword up by 1 and bow up by 1 if you wanted to.
17,
That changes things.
11.
Yeah, it does.
11 left. What can I go for 11? I could bring my bow up to 2, I guess. And that would be use all my points basically. So it's 12 and 5 is 17, and then another 8. 17 and 8 is 25. 25. Yeah, I guess I'll do that.
You also, all of your hope points are replenished. Absolutely all of them. And you guys will be happy to know that the enemy's awareness of you, this is what made you guys a target when you were in Fornost, that gets reset.
So that was 12 and 5 is 17. So I guess that was 12. And 5, 17. I had 28, right?
Going to be
Why is it down to 3?
Oh boy. You all have magic weapons now. That adds to the eye awareness of you. Oops.
28.
How do we raise our combat proficiencies?
That's adventure points.
Yeah,
No,
I'm
it's
just
skill point. Oh, wait, I'm sorry.
on it.
No, it is adventure. Skill points of the other ones.
Yeah. Do you need to know
Because I'm writing it down.
How do I
Do you need to
change it on the character sheet though?
Oh, alt click.
Alt click, you said?
Yeah. Do you guys have the list of what points it costs to go up on?
Yeah,
It's on
well,
page
it's under the
119.
one. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
under the one range rules.
Yeah, it's page 119 if I haven't told you already.
So I spent
It's also in
Okay.
the journal tab.
12.
What did I put one in there?
It's under the One Rings rules, and
Oh.
then it says
Oh, I forgot I did that. There you go. Oops. That's handy. Wow. Should have thought of that.
12. 5 is 17.
With 40 points, I have so many choices.
How many points do you have?
40 in skill.
shit.
Are you
Oh,
what?
Uh-huh.
I have 30. Well, no, sorry, I have 29 in skills now. I had more bench.
Good God, Wanderer.
She was saving up.
I guess.
Yeah.
Keep in mind you can only spend one raise a skill by one level, but I think you know that,
Yeah.
but
I
that
can't.
means you can
Yeah,
raise quite a few.
6 of them I'm looking at. I think I can get all 6.
okay, there we go. Okay.
Stealth for sure.
All right, so that's
Just
good.
as my. Obviously, I'm gonna heal my shadow scarf, but
22.
is.
Hunting with P
Am I able to.
28.
Because there's a couple Erebor specific fellowship face undertakings, and I need to know if I am able to apply them or not.
Okay.
Because I could research lore in Chamber of Mazarbul, which would basically be a study magical items,
Yeah.
but I don't know if that would have more stuff for my axe and or shirt.
You would be able to find out what it could do, but it would still have to attune to you. You'd still have to have the rank and valor for it.
Gotcha.
3.
Okay. I already kind of gained experience and gifts from the king, so I don't know if I need to search the deep tunnels of Erebor.
Yeah.
But
It's 12.
6.
nor do I probably need to do dwarven smithing because my ward here is also pretty well.
Oh wait,
off.
no, I can't do that.
What should I raise? Stealth. We're probably not going to be stealthy no matter what, right? Let's see.
Okay. Pulling up.
Awareness. Song.
Right.
I guess I could do that.
I can do some stuff while everyone kind of decides. Also, for my Yule,
Okay, go ahead.
I'm going to. So I'm going to create an amulet. It is a sturdy silver chain, and attached to it is this what looks like a marble stone. It's kind of oblong and flat, and it actually has like a small hole. So what it does is gives +2 perception,
Ah.
or no, persuasion, +2 persuasion to whomever is wearing it, and it can be used as a whistle. That's what the hole in the stone is for. And so I'm actually going to give this to Herubrand to help him speak with birds.
Oh, thank you.
What a selfless thing to do. What a
Because
gift.
I always played at that. Angamanda was kind of like intrigued by the fact that he would talk to birds.
And
so
you'll
he was
have that
inspired to create
and you'll-
this.
and you'll have that gift waiting for him when he comes back this way.
And then I put 1 point into travel and 1 point into scan. And raised my wisdom to 1, which is what gave me Artificer.
I thought you already had Artificer.
No, I'd been working towards justifying getting it with my roleplay leading up to this next Yule.
Got it.
So it's really Engamandal's like first experimentation with creating anything, and he was so intrigued by like the bird talk that he made this amulet that has a whistle that
Okay,
acts
I'm
as a
good.
whistle.
Uh,
But it'll give +2 persuasion to like humanoids also if you just by wearing it.
Yeah. Is it the stone? Is it kind of shaped like a bird at all?
No, it's more like a skipping stone
Oh, right.
that
Okay.
you could skip on a river.
And then you took a point of scan.
Yeah, and travel.
Then that.
Because he's so bad at traveling, but now he's actually been on the road for the first time in 1,000 years. So
You, just so you know, you still have no skills that are used on the journey phases. Well, travel is, but Fulvus or Bane are really skilled in that.
already so much better.
Yeah, and they're favored as well, I believe. So it's like, I think they've got a thing, you know, west of the mountains, Fulvus is guiding the way. East of the mountains, it's Bane.
Are travel rules only used for journey phases then?
No, they're also used at the end of a journey to see how much fatigue you've avoided, and they are.
Okay, well, I'll keep it then.
Hold on.
It still makes sense in character to
Yeah.
do that.
Okay,
And
I'll write a song. Okay.
Well,
take
for
it.
my
I was
But
getting fatigued.
But it allows you to travel. Allows you to, and the rule says estimate the length of a journey, read a map, and even evaluate whether a group of strangers on the road can be approached safely or if they should be left alone instead. So it's used for a few things, so it's not a bad thing to have.
Well, for me, for my undertakings, considering I went to Bree to guard Bree in the Shire, that's going to be my first undertaking. Guard Bree in the Shire.
Hold on a second for that.
Okay.
Just writing something down.
Is that one of the experience bonus ones?
Yeah, it says gain experience or other bonuses depending on activity.
Okay, I have to look that one up, but yeah, just one moment on that.
And only a ranger can do it.
Where's that at? Is that under Guard Bree in
It's
the
on the
Shire?
PD.
There it is. I got it. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And you are spending an entire season because you have to wait until it gets warm again for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let me tell you. Just looking that one up to tell you about the experience or whatever it comes from. That. I think there's a roll we have to make. 1 second. Oh yes. Let's see. Okay. Okay, you need to make a hunting or battle roll. Wander.
Okay. Let's see. Hunting. I got 3. Battle. Hunting or battle, you said?
Yep,
I got 3 in both, but hunting is favored. So
that's the one. I figured that'd be your best one for that.
Are you shitting me? 1 point?
Wow.
Should have spent that hope point.
Well, you are blessed by Arowena. Why don't you do the macro to re-roll 1 feat die?
Fingers crossed.
Say it happened at nighttime. There you go. You passed it. So you get 1 skill point.
1 skill point. Okay.
Yes.
So, oh, I gotta reduce that because I used all 40. So I'm up at 1.
Now, you know you get to choose 2, don't you? 2 fellowship
Yes, yes.
fates you can take.
My second one's gonna be a chance meeting at the end of the Prancing Pony because I'd imagine that's where I'm staying during my time. So
Where's that one at?
it's 2 below.
Oh, yes. Okay. I'm going to have to make a note of that because I'll just... Oh, my God. I know how that's going to play into things. Because I roughly know how the next chapter is beginning. Oh, dear. It's weird. That's kind of like with Newton Year Zero, how we just get these rolls that just make sense.
I think for my second one, I'll do the one that gives me a new distinctive feature and take Keen-Eyed,
Oh,
because I
right.
tried to use that at one point. I think it's tell a story, and so it's like, I was retelling the story of when I was scouting or whatever it was that.
Yes, in the Hall of Fire.
If I had Keen-Eyed, it might have helped me a little.
Yeah. Well, as you know, the Elves of Rivendell love stories and lore being told in the Hall of Fire. Let's see, how's that worded? The chance meeting in Bree at the Prancing Pony, sorry. Plays a significant role in a future tale. How about you, Fulvis? Is he with us still?
He's muted.
Oh, whoops, I was muted. Yeah, the first one I was thinking of was There and Back Again, but I'm not sure if it actually does anything.
I think you already cured your hope.
Yeah, but it just seemed like it made sense.
Yeah, hold on. Just typing this down. Okay, there and back again.
But
Yeah.
if that one doesn't do anything, I was thinking of doing the chance meeting at the Prancing Pony as well.
Okay, well, you do
I'm
get to
in the
choose too.
Shire, but
Well, you do make trips to the Prancing Pony too.
yeah.
You're a brandy bucket.
You are indeed. Yeah, I see what you mean though. There and back again, even though it doesn't necessarily give you anything, but it's just so right for a hobbit, especially one who's obsessed with lore. Yeah. I tell you what though. Hold on, I'll make a note of this. First, let me make sure the chance meeting wanderer and Fulvis, and we'll do this at the beginning of the next chapter. And I might have it. I need to think about it, but I might have it that you're both together. That maybe you're visiting Bree and like, hey, wanderer, and then you both meet somebody. But Chris, I'm going to give you a +1 temporary hope. GM's choice. So that there and back end gives you something.
Okay, I'm at 18 out of 17.
Yeah. And have you spent your experience points at all? And adventure points? And then, Wander, what was your second? Oh, you got, oh no, you got it. That was Guardbury in the Shire, then Chance Meeting. Gotcha. And then Agamondale's chosen his two. Bane, have you made a decision yet?
Well, obviously, I'm healing Shadow Scars for that. And then my only other thing is I'm kind of debating the other one, because if I did, because I don't know what I would get with, because so for Dwarven smithing, it says like war gear with possibly rewards, enchanted rewards. And then like search the deep tunnels of Erebor, it's like gain experience and gifts from the king, but I don't know what number of experience and what gifts from the king I would get more than what I've already gotten.
Right. I can look at, so if I got book location at the end there, I can look that up for you really quick. One moment.
One of them is E26, the other's E32.
Yeah. This is a first edition book on Erebor. Would you say 26 and 32?
Yeah.
Okay. Search the deep tunnels.
And then, of course, it says there's also the lore of Erebor, or the lore of Mazarbul, which it says gaming knowledge plus replaces study magical items.
Yeah, the study magical items is from second edition, and so
Yeah.
I've just replaced it with that. Let's see. So search the deep tunnels. You would do. Damn it! Hold on. You'd make a scan roll,
Okay.
and depending on how many successes, it would determine what you receive. But if you got an Eye of Sauron, it could cause an underground accident.
Oh, jeez.
And then 32, and you could get adventure points and skill points from that.
Oh, from that?
Yeah, if you're depending on how many successes. And then Dwarven smithing, you'd make a craft roll. And let's see. Hold on. So it's just a whole page on it, so I'm just scanning through really quick. Oh, I see. All right, let's see. So, let's see. Trying to give it with an enchanted quality, there's a chance. The process is wrought with peril. There's a chance you could gain shadow from it. Permanent shadow.
Oh.
It can not quite like dragon sickness, to where like what Thorin Oakenshield had, but it could drive you with this quest, like I must complete this, and it just kind of overtakes you. But then again, you could also make something that is magical.
And that would be a craft roll, you said?
It is a craft roll. Let's see. Let me. Ah. Sorry, you have to have a craft skill of 4 or more for that.
Ah, okay.
So that one's out.
I didn't,
Sorry, I missed that
I
point.
didn't see that.
That makes
Okay.
sense, I guess, because a craft of 2. Yeah, I'm gonna make a magic weapon.
Yeah, I just because I saw the limits and requirements, I was like, "You old dwarf only." I'm like, "That's pretty good."
Yeah, I didn't. I should have written that in there too. Craft skill of 4. Whoops. I did put all these together really quickly. And was there another one you were?
If you have researching lore in the Chamber of Master Bool,
Oh yes.
it doesn't give you a page for that one.
Well, that's stupid.
Yeah, it was the only one that has a blank under book location.
Did I screw up? Hold on. Well, I really wish I'd have put a name on, a page number on that, because there's 112 pages to the Erebor book. Please say there's an index. There is. Of course, it doesn't have that one. Ah. Okay. Actually, I still have the recording going this whole time. I think I'll stop it now.